So one of the more challenging thing with these like indie game recommendation videos is when someone asks for games on Game Pass, it doesn't specify a genre or any particular like niche about it. I will just go through it and look at games that I've played and had a good time with, and then I will look at you in the camera and talk about them. I hope that's what you were looking for, because that's what you're about to get. Now hopefully to find you something new to play this week, here are 5 indie games on Game Pass that I think you should go play. You know, people go out of their way on the internet just to post pictures of people who suck at parking? There's kind of a game about that. So You Suck at Parking is this parkour arcade racing game where you are trying to get through all these insane obstacles. There's flamethrowers and giant boxing gloves and big old fans that are blowing your car all over the place. It's a riot. You Suck at Parking is all about completing these insane races, dodging the obstacles, and then parking your car at the end of the track. The game's on this fence of being super rage-inducing, but also super comedic and dumb and goofy, and I love every second of it. Now, I haven't played quite as much since the game launched on Game Pass, but now there's multiplayer, there's seasons, you're getting all these different XP weekends. It's pretty freaking rad. And with the online multiplayer, you compete with friends or randos online, all trying to get that one little special parking spot at the end of the track. So yeah, You Suck at Parking, really fun. Go play it. So Chicory: A Colorful Tale was one of my favorite indie games from 2021, because on the surface it looks like this adorable top-down game, kind of a Zelda-like, where you just have a big giant magical paintbrush and you fill in the world as much as you want. You want to make some mountains blue, you want to make the lake red. That's kind of weird, but you know what? You can do it. And as you progress, you get more power-ups, you can swim through the paint like it's Splatoon or something, and it's just a really precious and fun game. But on the other hand, it has a really deep personal narrative all about feeling imposter syndrome, being overwhelmed with life and things that are tasked upon you, and just wanting things to be easier for you. They'll often hit you with these important moments by inverting the colors, where the environment is black, white outlines, splashing color onto the screen to really just pop, and I love thinking back to how much I enjoyed playing through the story. Plus, all of the characters are cute little animals, and when you get to start the game, they'll ask what your favorite food is, and spoiler alert, that's the name of your character. Now, when I played the demo, I didn't know this, so my character's name was Chicken, and it was weird to have a dog named Chicken. So when I played the full game, I went with Waffles, because a dog named Waffles is absolutely precious to me. Now, also with this one, in case you don't have Game Pass, this one's also on PlayStation and Switch, so you have no excuse not to go play Chicory. Am I gonna cheat with this one? Yes, I most certainly will, because there are 2 fantastic Metroidvanias that you have to go play, and those are Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisp. I'm lumping these 2 together because they are both fantastic, and I think you should just go play them back to back. But Ori and the Blind Forest is all about this adorable little squirrel, lemur, angelic looking. I don't know what Ori is exactly, but he's absolutely precious. Somehow Moon Studios just doesn't miss with the breathtaking art style, the beautiful music, and just how thrilling and tranquil the levels can be at the same time. It's pretty wild. And not only did they do it once, but then they somehow doubled down and did it again with Will of the Wisp. It's oh my god, Moon Studios, where's the next game? So I've told the story a bunch of times about how I couldn't play Shovel Knight because I didn't have a PC at the time. Once it came to Wii U, I could finally play it. Ori was very similar because I was a PlayStation kid, so growing up I had the PS4, but I didn't have the Xbox One. So eventually, when I went out of my way to go buy an Xbox One just to play Cuphead, Ori was also on that list of games that I needed to play. But now with the game's popularity, it's also seen itself get a Switch release, so you can play both those games on the Nintendo Switch as well. Here's what I think is probably the most obscure one on this list, and I don't think I've seen enough people talk about it, but this is the Gunk. So the Gunk's this 3D action platformer about these 2 space haulers who just aren't making that bread. So they go and find this untouched planet, and they're like, hey, we can find some cool resources, make some money, and guess what? Just more than they bargained for. Yeah, it's about the story with most games. But essentially you play as Ronnie, who's voiced by Fiona Nova, famous Twitch streamer. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And she has this really cool high-tech vacuum cleaner that you use to suck up the gunk, which is this gross sludge stuff that's all over the place. And the more you clean it up, the more you're discovering about this ancient civilization, and you're diving deeper and deeper. And man, I wish there was a way to turn back, but you're stuck here now, so you gotta go explore the gunk. Probably the thing I was most impressed with the Gunk is that a game built so much around cleaning up disgusting, sludgy type creatures looks so stunning and beautiful and vibrant. Seeing the sun shine through the trees and all the different creatures and animals around, the Gunk is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Now, I've said a couple times in my life, if the Gunk made its way to PlayStation, I would love to go for the Platinum. That being said, I've not looked at the achievements. I don't know if it's a hard one to do. So maybe put an asterisk behind that until I at least see the trophy list. And finally, I'm going to hit you with Tinykin. So back in my top 10 indie games of 2022, Tinykin came in at 3rd, only beaten by Sifu and Cult of the Lamb. And Tinykin is this perfect mesh between Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and Pikmin, where you play as Milo, this small little space astronaut slash professor at Tiny University? I don't know where he teaches. And as you're exploring this house, you're discovering these little colorful dudes called Tinykin. Some of them can blow up, some are really strong, some can charge an electrical current. They all have different powers to help you progress and find new things in the world. And you're going to collect a bunch of these Tinykins so they can help you find the giant ship parts so you can reconstruct your ship and go home. Now, personally, I've always been a sucker for the little guy in the big world because just the scale of what it's such a normal thing, like a styrofoam cup becoming a rocket launcher or a cardboard box becoming a zoo, it's just always felt so special and magical. There's like a childhood whimsy to it, I guess. Plus, carrying around all the little Tinykin that make these little peeps and pops the entire time, it's just serotonin inducing. Another thing I love about my experience with Tinykin is that the game's not about challenging yourself with fighting giant monsters or taking down hordes of enemies. It's more about exploring the world, checking every nook and cranny, and seeing what this house has to hide from you. And now after sitting here talking about this, I'm considering making a new PSN account so I can buy Tinykin again and get the platinum for a third time. But I probably shouldn't do that. I have other games to play. So there you go. There's 5 indie games on Game Pass that I think you should check out. I'm trying to get a better swing of doing these videos and maybe just going off the cuff. I typically write a script so I have something to read, but it always feels so artificial and blah, blah, blah. So let me know if this felt like it flowed better, and if it didn't, I'll just go back to the other way. But I like to think this did pretty well. But anyway, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video and drop a follow. And if you have any interest in finding new games to play, let me know in the comments because I'd love to know. Can I show you some indie games?